7 seconds.
And you were invited to participate in this.
And a big thank you to Desert Financial Credit Union for sponsoring our KRIM Community Spotlight program. Good morning, Rim Country. Chris Higgins in the studio. Hope you're having a wonderful Tuesday, and hope you enjoyed that rain last night. If you got some rain wherever you are in Rim Country, I know here at the KRIM Cottage, it was very nice, just a nice gentle rain last night. That sounded so nice, put me right to sleep, but it doesn't take much to put me to sleep, as my wife says, so I was asleep regardless. Now this morning in the studio, we have members of the National Society Daughters of the American Revolution, the Mogollon chapter. We have Regent Cathy Boone, and just all around, do everything, Gopher member, Lois Grumbo. And good morning to both of you ladies.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for coming in to talk about, which commonly known, Daughters of the American Revolution, DAR.
Yes.
Because that is a lot easier
Yes.
than saying the mouthful. So could you start by telling, I guess, our listeners and our viewers, we're on our KRIM FM Facebook page, Facebook Live, and our YouTube channel, but telling everyone a little bit about the Daughters of the American Revolution.
Absolutely. Actually, the Sons of the American Revolution started first.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them would allow women to join them, some of them didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So they agreed that they would support the women having their own organization. So on October 11th, 1890,
Mm-hmm.
the women got together and formed the Daughters of the American Revolution.
Mm.
And then by an act of Congress in 1896, they approved that. And as a matter of fact, there is a Children of the American Revolution.
Oh, wow. Huh.
Yes, so any child from birth to age 22, I believe it is,
18 to 22, I think it's 822.
Mm-hmm.
they are able to be, it's actually let's see if I have that down here. They actually are the oldest national youth organization.
Really? Wow. That is cool.
And it's
Yes.
for women.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so that's for everything. The children are,
Yeah.
all of them.
Yeah.
And then when a daughter turns 18, she can become a member of a chapter
Mm-hmm.
and still keep her ties with the Children of the American Revolution as well.
So how can anyone qualify, or do you have to have that lineage?
It's
That
it's a lineage society.
It's a direct blood lineage
Yes.
to someone who
Mhm.
helped in some way.
Gotcha.
It doesn't have to be a revolutionary soldier.
Okay.
It can be a merchantman or merchant person who served. It can be maybe
A surveyor.
spies. It can be a surveyor. It can be someone who served the troops.
Okay.
So there's many, many different ways that the daughters
Mm-hmm.
at the revolutionary time
Mm-hmm.
were helping and supporting our troops.
Wow. So does the organization, do you provide assistance
Yes.
in
Yes.
discovering that?
Mhm.
Okay.
So
Wow.
if a person is just looking, they
Mhm.
can go on to dar.org,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a link, and
Mhm.
it says genealogy, I believe, and you can look and see information, see people that have already joined. Like in my case, it was easy. My cousin had joined.
Mm-hmm.
So I just had to link myself to my dad and my
Mhm.
dad to my grandparents, and then the
Mhm.
rest of it was done.
Okay.
So there are a lot of people that it's a slam dunk.
Oh.
For some others,
Uh-huh.
there are problems. We had one that it took a couple of years to get her in. She had an American Indian,
Mm-hmm.
and so it was hard to get that proven.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the states didn't start having birth certificates, death
Mhm.
certificates all at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the courthouses were burned.
Mm.
So therefore, some of them are a little more difficult. But
Mm.
yes, there is help to help a person.
And we do have a specialist here in town
Yes.
that's extremely good at doing that.
Yes.
Every little detail.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
She's really, really good and very helpful and very enthusiastic.
Mhm.
Yeah, and we were, before the program, talking that the Mogollon chapter is celebrating this year, its 30-year anniversary.
Last spring, yes.
Last spring.
spring.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yes.
That is
Yes,
great. So
it is.
in 1992 is when this chapter was formed.
Mhm, yeah.
Yeah.
And we
I wasn't
actually
sure.
have been increasing in numbers quite quickly.
Uh-huh.
Most of them are paper members.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, they've proved their lineage and joined us. And I would say the majority of our new people in the last couple of years have been out-of-towners, but we still have a lot of people interested.
Mhm.
And part of that is because our premise is not just a genealogy society.
Mm-hmm.
Our premise is a service organization to serve our military, to serve our country, to support its constitution, to preserve its history, to support education so that an educated populace
Mm-hmm.
can really support our country with knowledge and
Yes.
strength. And so we believe very strongly in the Constitution, patriotism, supporting our military service, supporting our Constitution,
Mm-hmm.
and educating. Those are our main things in our service.
Mm-hmm. And now you do that in a variety of different ways.
Oh, yeah.
One of those, it's coming up here pretty soon, an event that you do, and that's the reenactment of the signing of the Declaration of Independence.
Yes.
Mhm.
And how often or how long have you been doing this?
Carol Bland
Uh-huh.
is our chaplain, and she previously was our treasurer.
Mm-hmm.
She thought this up, and
Mhm.
so we did it the first 2 years, I think, in the classrooms.
Mhm.
No, first 1 year in the classroom, the
Mm.
second year was in the dome, that was
Yes.
last year.
Yes.
And then this will be our third year.
And
We're trying to make it better every year. She
Yeah.
rewrites it 24 hours a day, I think.
yeah.
She lives it.
And this year it's going to be in the auditorium, the high school
Right.
auditorium, which
Yes.
I think is it's a great venue because of the acoustics.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I know, talking with Carol and others, not realizing the dome, how the acoustics are. We've been broadcasting basketball, volleyball games for years out of the dome, and the acoustics, it's real hard to hear people clearly.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it just echoes.
And then
And
last year in the dome, one of the biggest problems with those people on the stage
Uh-huh.
could generally get an idea of what was going on
Uh-huh.
because it was of the echo, but they
Yes.
could still hear. But the people in the audience,
Yes.
the accumulative echo was just, we had a videographer that came last year and was going to do it, and he says, I can't.
No.
There's just no way I can get any video, any
Mhm.
sound
Yep.
from this. And so he left.
Mm-hmm.
But the advantage of the dome was room.
Uh-huh.
The advantage of the auditorium will be not only the fact that we'll have better lighting,
Mhm.
different type of staging, but we'll have mics everywhere,
Yep.
so everybody can hear everything. And it's going to be a audience experience.
Mm-hmm.
What they will do is as they enter into the lobby of the auditorium,
Mm-hmm.
that will be our colonial stores.
Mm.
And everybody that comes in the door will get a bag of colonial money.
Okay.
On loan, but a bag of colonial money. And they, without any loan papers to sign.
Yes.
So they will get the bag of colonial money and they will go to the store and they can buy food, tea, and muskets.
Oh, wow.
And they will buy these things and
Yeah.
they'll put them in their sack. Then they will go in and be part of the audience. In the back of the audience will be England
Mm.
with the king and his soldiers.
Mm.
On the stage will be actually the Boston Harbor with the ship
Mhm.
and be set up as if it was Boston.
Mm-hmm.
And then the king will, the script will be very important to hear. And
Mhm.
Carol has been very careful to not include things that were not truly said.
Yes. Gotcha.
It's not imaginary, it's factual. And so the king will declare certain things and he will send a runner up to tell the soldiers that are on stage in the colonies
Mm-hmm.
to take away the money and the muskets and the food from the people and punish the colonists.
Mm-hmm.
And so the soldiers will come down into the audience
Mm-hmm.
and take the things from the people in the audience.
Wow. All right.
And then the patriots will
Uh-huh.
talk on stage and they'll say, wait a minute, this is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And they will present the side of the patriots.
Mm-hmm.
The audience people will be asked to put on their Indian headdresses and
Mhm.
sneak up on stage to throw the tea off the boat into the
Yeah.
harbor.
Yes.
Then from there, they will sign the Declaration of Independence.
Uh-huh.
And each signer, there'll be 56 signers, I was thinking 57 was wrong, 56 signers,
Yeah.
they will all have a chance to sign the Declaration with a plumed pen.
Mm-hmm.
Each signer will have the biography
Mm-hmm.
of what happened, because as those gentlemen,
Mm-hmm.
statesmen,
Mm-hmm.
signed that declaration, they were actually signing their death certificate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because England had already told them they would be hung
Yeah.
if they signed it.
Mm-hmm.
So they signed it. It was unanimous.
Mm-hmm.
They signed it. One man walked out and didn't vote because he
Mm-hmm.
wanted it to be unanimous.
Mm. Gotcha. Yeah.
And
Wow.
so it was very powerful, and the
Mhm.
stories are very powerful. We'll only be reading about 5 or 6 of the
Mhm.
stories, and we'll be sharing historical facts through the day.
Mm-hmm.
But when we've done it in the school, and we did it in the auditorium last year, in the school, I'll never forget, one little 6th grader came to me in tears, and she said, "I can't read this.
Mm-hmm.
He sacrificed too much.
Mm.
I can't read it, it's too sad."
Wow. Wow.
And the kids were moved.
Uh-huh.
And last year we found people moved. This is our point.
Mm-hmm.
Freedom is not free.
Mm-hmm.
These people sacrificed everything.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And they sacrificed so much so that we would have the freedoms we have today.
Mm-hmm.
We must not waste them.
Mm-hmm. No, and it's. I think it'll be great in the auditorium. Just everything, the lighting, the sound will be wonderful. So again, it's just a great opportunity to participate, to observe, to watch, but to be a part of this reenactment and to witness this. Also with young people
Yes.
there, that is great to see young people hearing this, learning about this, and having this experience. It is important.
And then as they leave, they will get a copy of the Constitution and an American flag, because that is the culmination. They signed the Declaration of Independence. They worked through the Constitution, all this stuff for the years, but it formed our country.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And we have Jill Van Camp watching, and she said, "You two ladies are the best." So, Jill,
thank you. And
Jill watching.
Jill, remember you have the heritage to join us.
Hey, just a little reminder there, Jill. Yes. So that is, we didn't even talk, when is that event? It's the 24th?
That's correct.
Saturday 24th at 5 p.m.
5
Rehearsal, if you're going to be a part of it, and we need about a total of about 75 people. Some
Mhm.
have been already committed, but we
Mhm.
need 75 people at least.
Okay.
Will be from 10 to 12 on Friday morning. Will be
Okay.
rehearsal, so we can walk through it and make sure everything's working well.
Mm-hmm. There we
So
go.
if there are people that might be interested in participating,
Okay.
please show up.
Yes, okay. And should they just show up on Saturday, the 24th, from 10 to 12?
No, it's Friday.
Friday.
Is the
Friday
rehearsal.
from 10 to 12.
Okay, Friday is the rehearsal from
Yes.
10 to 12
Mhm.
in the high school auditorium.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And they don't need to call or don't need to do anything?
If they
just show up?
choose to call,
Okay.
they could call Carol Bland, and I don't have her number on the top of my head.
Let's see.
They could
Oh,
call-
it's 928
Mm-hmm.
978 3881.
Or they could call myself, Lois Grumbo,
Okay.
928-951-4044.
Okay. So there you go. You can call, but if you don't want to call, just show up Friday at the high school auditorium between 10 and 12 for rehearsal.
Yes.
And then the performance is Saturday starting at 5.
It's
Starting
going
at
to start
5.
at 5. The participants I don't know what Carol's plan is for the participants, but they probably should be there an hour early.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hey, come on, it's a play.
Yeah, oh yeah, I need to get
I
there
think she asked us to be there at 4, so.
at 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
Ah, there we go. So that is one of the events, one of the things that the Daughters of the American Revolution do. Another one, I know when we were announcing this year's rodeo parade, you had a grand entry in the rodeo parade. Yes, an award-winning entry. So that's another thing you do to
And
bring
that
attention to your group.
That was Lois. My goal this year is Regent, which I should have had it the other years, but each year it's to try to get us known more in the community.
Mm-hmm.
And so we put up the sign on the monument entry signs,
Mhm.
but that doesn't show a lot. It just shows an American flag and says DAR.
Mm-hmm.
But Lois took the ball and she entered in the 4th of July parade
Mm-hmm.
and then for the rodeo parade.
Mhm.
So tell them about that.
It was a lot of fun. We got the idea for the rodeo parade about 3 days before the parade, so it was kind of a quickie. But that's okay. There was only 2 of us available, and we had a 4x4.
Mhm.
That's what we used. I don't remember what it was. It's something that we went on the trails with, and we got it all decorated and had fun. I was totally impressed
Mm-hmm.
that we had well over 200 vehicles
Mm-hmm.
driving that day, showing patriotism to our country.
Mm-hmm.
Then for this parade, we had a float, and we decorated basically to push the 1776,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
and to let people know. We bought banners a couple of years ago in preparation of doing something to say, hey, we're here, we're here, we're here.
Mm-hmm.
But my message at the parade was service, and
Mhm.
that's the main thought that I wanted to get out. We are here to serve our veterans.
Mm-hmm.
We put on luncheons for Vietnamese veterans with PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
PTSD.
PTSD.
There we go. Get the letters right. We collect things they need. We send out Christmas cards to the current servicemen, just saying, hey, thank you, we're thinking of you, Merry Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And we try to do things, we send things down to the female veterans that are having children, that are
Mhm.
pregnant. So we try to pay attention to the needs, but we need to do much more.
Mhm.
We really do.
Mhm. So you were talking about a card, I guess sending cards.
Christmas cards, yes.
Christmas cards to service members serving abroad.
Yeah.
That's another event that you're going to have.
Not even necessarily serving abroad.
Or just serving.
What we've done in the past is, a couple of years ago, we sent 1,000 Christmas cards to Fort Hood,
Mm.
and they passed them out to the military service. And we sent it to the chaplain,
Mm-hmm.
so he's aware of who isn't
Mm-hmm.
getting family support.
Mm. Gotcha.
And hopefully our cards will give them some
Mm-hmm.
help there.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Some
that's
support.
great.
One of the other things that we're doing this
Mhm.
coming Saturday is the
Yes,
Bells Across America, which is actually when they were ringing the bells for having people come to hear what's going on because
Mm.
they didn't have other
Mhm.
means.
Yeah.
And so we're doing that at the outside of the public library a little before 1 because it's nationwide and so it has to be 4 o'clock on the East Coast, so it's 1
Mm.
o'clock here.
Okay.
So people are encouraged to just bring a bell.
Okay.
I'm not able to be there, so our vice regent will have to do the little speech. But
Mm-hmm.
it's just a 1-minute thing where they ring the bell and
Yeah.
In fact, Regent, I cheated.
What?
I'm admitting. I went to my church group and I said, if you can't go to the library at 1 o'clock, walk out on your front step and ring a bell.
oh, that's great. That's
Because if we
wonderful.
have
Yes.
people all over the country, I'm gonna get
Yes.
work, but
Yes.
I've already set my alarm for work to walk out of work and ring a bell. And I'm
Mm.
taking my mother's school bell, so I can ring the bell for her
Uh-huh.
and for us to signify and remember that
Mm.
I'm glad we have the Constitution.
Mhm. Again, if you're just tuning in, talking with Cathy Boone and Lois Grumbo, members of the Mogollon chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution. And you can find out very easily. Well, maybe it'll be easy, but there's people to assist you here in Payson if you can become a member of the Daughters of the American Revolution.
And we accept help for our service projects even if you're not a member.
Oh,
Ha-ha.
there you go. So if you'd like to donate, contribute to the organization to help out, yeah, you don't have to be a member. That's a great point. And then you have a website here, or like a local website for your Mogollon chapter,
Right.
where people can get information about the local chapter. And what is that website? I know I was looking at that earlier, and I can bring it up here.
That's
while
good,
we-
because it just pops up on my computer.
I know, and I was looking at that, Daughters of the American Revolution. I know you mentioned the main site is dar.org, but then I'll find it here.
And anyone can go on that, and then they can put in if they're interested, because there are numerous chapters. There's probably 40-some chapters in Arizona.
Oh,
So
wow.
every
44, I
state,
think.
every
Yeah.
state has different chapters. So you can look into maybe joining one somewhere else. My sister's a member of ours, but she lives in Minnesota.
Gotcha.
But
Yeah.
you can do that. You can be an associate member.
Mhm.
We have active members from Hebrew Overguard
Yes.
and Sholo.
Mhm.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
so we have people from out of town that are
Yeah.
active, and we have a number of people that are, I say associates, or they're on paper members.
Uh-huh. And I know, let me see, I found it, it's
Mhm.
mogollon.arizonadar.org.
That's
So very
important to
easy.
know.
Mogollon.arizonadar.org, and that is the Mogollon chapter for National Society Daughters of the American Revolution. That is great. So,
Yes.
are there some other events or other things that you have planned as far as in the community, or projects or things that you have going on?
I'm just thinking right now in terms of, we have some of the Daughters of the American Revolution that do a lot of literacy help, and they do tutoring to students, and they do reading for students, collecting books, things like that. I don't know anything off the top of my head because I'm not at the board meetings anymore.
We are a service organization.
Mhm.
Main three things are patriotism, historic preservation, and education. So any time that someone could use our services,
Mhm.
we would love to find out about that. I mean, if there's schools that would like someone to come in and read to the children,
Mm.
or if there's a way that we could help in a classroom,
Mhm.
or right now our emphasis is on, like I said, those three things are the main things. But there are all different ways that we could help out if we just knew that someone could use some help.
Okay.
You know, too, Kathy, we have quite a bit of craft supplies that we've accumulated over a period of time, and we're not doing that kind of thing anymore.
Mhm.
So we are arranging to donate that to one of the local Indian schools.
Oh, nice.
I think it's going to go up on the Navajo reservation because we have
Mhm.
connections up there.
Mhm.
Just donating things that they need.
Okay.
And that's our goal, to be of service and to be of support.
Mhm. So if people would want to get in touch with you to have you come to their organization, to read in a classroom or wherever it may be, is it the best way to give you a call?
Yes.
Okay.
And
And
they can call me. My name is Cathy Boone, and it's 602-469-2611.
okay. And then if you want to give your number one more time, Lois?
928-951-4044.
There we go. So again, just a lot of different services and I guess ways that the Daughters of the American Revolution support our community,
Yes.
and a lot of different things that are done in our community. Well, it was great having you on this morning. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And again, really want to push the reenactment of the signing of the Declaration of Independence, and that is taking place Saturday, September 24th, in the high school auditorium, and that starts at 5 o'clock. But again, they need some more people to participate in that. So if you would like to participate, you can show up Friday at the high school auditorium at 10 o'clock. Maybe get there a little bit early, but from 10 to noon is when they're going to be doing the rehearsal. So you have an opportunity to be a part of that. That's a great thing. Yes.
Do we have a few more extra minutes?
Yeah.
All right, then I have something else to throw out as an idea.
Yes.
If you like to pile your kids in the car and take a trip up to the higher areas of the Rim Country,
Yeah.
where it's a little cooler, go up to Springerville.
Okay.
And in Springerville, near the country store, and also near McDonald's, right tucked in there,
Yeah.
there is a statue of Madonna of the Trails.
Mm.
And many years ago, and I didn't come prepared with the dates on the top of my head, I want to say in the early 1900s, it was decided to put a memorial to the pioneer women who brought our country across from coast to coast. And there are 12 Madonna statues from the East Coast to California, placed by the DAR, sanctions by the United States government, but paid for and placed and made by the DAR across the country. And we happen to have one in Springerville. It is called the Madonna of the Trail. It's a little statue commemorating our pioneer women that sacrificed and walked across the country.
Wow.
It's kind of cool.
Yes.
And we as a chapter, we're responsible for maintaining that statue because we're the closest one at this point. So at least once a year we go up there and make sure it doesn't have bird poop on it and isn't covered with trash. But I've been up there 3 times now, and each time I've even found extra flowers stuck in around the base. So someone is watching over it, and it's in good condition, and it's not vandalized. I've been very pleased to find that it's never been vandalized. So just, if you want to take a trip, it'd be fun.
Yes, and looking at this is something, looking at the, as you said, 12. There's 12,
There's 12.
across the country, starting in Maryland, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Missouri, Kansas, Colorado, Albuquerque, New Mexico, Springerville, it's set here in Arizona, and then in California. Wow. That is really cool. So the Daughters of the American Revolution, responsible for that.
Yeah, to preserve history.
Yes.
To preserve history and patriotism and realize the sacrifice of all of our people, not just the women and the children that walked across the country, or just the soldiers who fought in war, or just the soldiers that are fighting now, or the teachers that are fighting in the classrooms. We support our country, and the thing that I enjoy most about being in DAR is standing in a group of women. Like when we go to the state, there'll be like 300 women, all in tears, as they say the Pledge of Allegiance, and sing loyalty to our country. And to know that I'm part of an organization that truly loves my country. It's not a political organization, it's not Democrat, it's not Republican. We do not even allow political discussions.
Gotcha.
But we do care about our country and our Constitution, and we need to today.
Amen to that. Oh,
And
yes.
we did have the state, Arizona, just put in a monument marker at Wesley Bowman Plaza last, I think it's November or so. So it was just recently that we have a plaque down by the Capitol.
Wow.
There are historical markers all over the place.
Yeah.
And I find it fascinating to realize the number of people that really care about my country. And to realize that we as women, not putting men down at all, but we as women have been a power for many years. The national organization actually owns one of the largest venues for activities in Washington, D.C. They originally bought the property, and women own, build, and maintain that entire property, and they have since the early 1800s.
Wow.
Yes.
Therefore, we women do have a power,
Oh yeah.
and we do succeed.
Any man that doesn't recognize that is just plain dumb.
I'm more worried about the women who don't recognize that.
That
They
is
don't
true.
realize that they have that kind of heritage that they can attach to. I can. They can, therefore I can.
Yep. And looking at this, those Madonnas of the Trail, they were dedicated in 1928 and 1929 in all 12 states. So coming up pretty soon on their 100-year
Yeah.
anniversary.
We planned before COVID hit. We had
Yes.
planned a big program up at the Madonna at Springerville with barbecue dinners and speakers and so on. And we even had a guy that was going to come present some of the thoughts on that day, whose father had organized the original dedication on the Springerville statue. I do not believe he's still alive, but because we had to cancel everything for COVID.
Yeah.
But we really want people to be aware of that special history we have.
Oh yes. No, it is great to keep that alive, for sure. Well, thank you so much, Kathy,
Thank you.
Lois, for coming in this morning, and thank you everyone for watching on our KRIM Facebook page and also listening. And a big thank you to Desert Financial Credit Union for sponsoring our Community Spotlight program. Time to get back to the music with some David Bowie, Elton John, Janis Joplin, and more. But first, let's get a quick update from the National Weather Service.
The forecast for Payson and surrounding areas.
These are very much.
Meteorologist Jim
There
Boone.
we go.
For today, partly to the
You're so welcome. We'll say goodbye to everyone watching. Have a